We are here. Yeah, what is he? What does he do? Is that just all he does?
Oh, he crash lands in you and goes woo.
Yeah, I've seen a clip of it happening, but I didn't know much more about it than that. Is it he just crashes into you? Goes woo.
And he goes woo. Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like his whole strat.
Yeah. Woo guy.
Paid off for a lot. A lot of people got by the woo guy.
Dang. It's one of those things where you hear it coming, but you don't see it until it's too late.
Exactly. It's so fast because you're like, what's that sound? And then before you know it, boom, he's hit you.
Yep. There he is. I've never played Sekiro. I probably should.
It's a good one. I've never played all the way through it, but I got to play it once. I think I've told you the story. It was like people were playing it at college.
Mm-hmm.
They were just sitting down playing it, passing the controller around, and I was like, heck yeah, pass me it.
People say it's one of the hardest ones. One of the hardest FromSoft games.
When they were all passing the controller around, they were fighting Yobu Masataka Oniwa, and I ended up beating him.
Dang.
Out of the group. But then I died a bunch to the bull that you fight right after that. My name is Yobu Masataka Oniwa!
Does he say that?
He does. He does say that.
I was half expecting you to be like, no, he doesn't.
No, he does say that. He rides out onto the field and says that.
Okay, well, I will have to ask you to forgive me because there is something I forgot to do, so I need to go do it. It'll take literally like 20 seconds. I have pills I need to take. So.
Anti-magic pills. Alright. Well, for now, it's just you and me, gang. He also hasn't shared the screen for me yet, so I also don't know what's... I can't hear it. I don't think... Does an OST... Is anything playing through the game right now? Isn't it like the sound of like a beach right now? Like, can't you just hear like waves and the calling of the seagulls? I can't remember. I can't hear anything right now. But otherwise, I'm looking forward to today. I don't know how far we're going to get. We're obviously getting very close to the end. Or at least pretty close to the end. If we're not finishing Umineko today, it'll probably be Sunday. So, prepare yourself. Kakugo shiro. It's gonna be good. I'm excited.
I'm back.
I've got it, and I was right.
Oh. Alright. I haven't actually checked the audio, so let me do that before we continue.
Oh man, that's why I kept going, my name is Yobu Takamasa Oniwa. I think I did it backwards that way. Yobu Masataka Oniwa. Yeah.
Our audio sounds good. Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome back. Hi, Duke Uncle.
Yeah.
Well, what happened last time?
Things were bad.
She did it. She did it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Ange actually pulled the trigger. Didn't expect her to, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think it was just gonna happen so quickly. Like, I thought it might happen, but I didn't think it was gonna be like she does it, like she gets the opportunity to do it and then immediately does it. I didn't think she was gonna full send it. I thought it was like she was gonna mull over it for a while. Maybe think about it. We were gonna have some dialogue with other people where like people tried to convince her not to do it and people tried to convince her to do it. No, she unlocked the book and opened it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Second she had the ability to.
Yep.
Then she freaked out.
Yep.
And was like, I ain't accepting this.
Yep.
This is stupid. And then she died.
Yep.
But maybe not.
Maybe.
Because we returned all the way to 1998 with the first time we met Ange, where she threw herself off that building, but this time she hit the ground hard. And the game told us that she wrote in her blood her own red truth about what happened on Rokkenjima in 1986. And supposedly, Ange said that her red truth is going to overcome the other red truth of what was in Ava's diary.
We'll see about that. I'm still not so sure.
Well, first we have to see if she's even alive still. So...
True. And all the meanwhile, everybody else pretty much, if you're not on the Bernkastel side, is about to get blown up by the Bernkastel side.
Yes, the cat box, as so it has been said, is about to basically get annihilated, meaning all of our Ushiromiyas that exist within the cat box are about to be kaput for good. There's going to be no traces of them left in existence, because they're the last of whatever there is of them right now. So let's see if Ange's sheer determination, even in death, will pay off.
Maybe.
Ah, we're still here on the side of the road. That's right. Ange is currently like, what I'm seeing in my head is she's like a mangled body on the side of the road.
She's gotta be, right? Like, it can't be good looking. Like.
Yeah.
I saw his shadow, which was apparently the driver, open an umbrella and come towards me.
I'll read it since you're Ange. Is this your backyard?
The shadow questioned me. Of course I couldn't answer it.
If it is, then I must apologize. Yes, on a day with such fine weather, anyone would want to take a nap in such a lovely backyard as this. And yet, unless my memory fails me...
The shadow crouched down and looked me into my face.
Oh. It was a woman.
Just a very deep-voiced woman.
Memon?
This is a public highway you're sleeping on. Do you want to become roadkill? Or maybe you already are roadkill. Well now, which one is it? I clenched my chest. I felt I needed to answer somehow and communicate my intentions. So finally, I managed to let a short groan escape my lips. I see. So you aren't roadkill yet. And that was how I met Ikuko.
I remember correctly, there was a chapter break between Ange falling off the building and us being here, so that might not have actually been Ange, I don't know.
It would not be.
I'm assuming then that this is going to be whoever that Tohya-sama was that was mentioned once. Last chapter? Or the chapter before it?
That was mentioned... I think 2 chapters ago, just barely. Yeah.
Someone who's living with Hachijo Tohya.
Indeed. If they continue to have lines here without a sprite, I'll have you read it, and you can just read it in like a plain voice.
Okay.
For now, obviously, this is another person, so I'll just take it. The patient's body is in a very frail condition. Some sort of memory loss is very probable as well. We won't know for sure until the CT scan, but there may even be brain damage. Is that still gonna be me?
Is it still gonna be you? I don't know.
I don't know.
I'll go.
Okay.
It's lucky the damage is all we have to deal with. Any longer in a spot like that, and it would have likely been much worse.
True. In any event, I recommend getting this checked at a large hospital.
That's probably Hachijo.
Probably. There's no sprite, but I'll guess that.
Thank you, Doctor. Please keep this off the record. It may not be much, but here's some money for your troubles.
I see no reason to speak of this needlessly, but... No, I couldn't possibly accept that much.
In the end, the doctor took the money and swore to keep quiet about the matter. Eventually, Hachijo returned.
Oh, you were awake. How do you feel?
I nodded weakly, letting her know that it wasn't so bad for now. But where is this place? A room I have absolutely no memory of, and a house I don't remember at all. And first and foremost, here's a woman I've never seen.
To start off, let me introduce myself. I'm Hachijo Ikuko. Feel free to casually call me Ikuko, or act more formal and call me Hachijo-san.
Hachijo Ikuko.
The Hachijo family owns a large amount of land and is fairly famous in these parts. Unlike my accomplished brothers, I'm what you might call a little eccentric. I got into a bit too much mischief, and my parents finally ran out of patience and kicked me out. I'm now confined to this house. As a hobby, I like to read detective novels, and also to write them. My age is a single woman's secret. My heart is that of a girl, but I'm approaching the point where calling myself one becomes increasingly absurd.
This man in a full body cast, just like, what?
Yeah.
With the haze my mind was in, it was extremely hard to make out what she was talking about. However, I was able to pick up on the fact that she was trying to cheer me up.
So, what's your name?
My name. Logically, I know that being a human, I must have a name. And I do have the feeling that I did indeed have a name. However, no matter how hard I tried to remember what it was, it just made my head hurt.
Can you remember anything besides your name?
Who am I? My head. No, even my heart was a mess of torn flesh, and I couldn't remember a thing. Not even who or what I was. But I must remember. I had some kind of purpose, or maybe a mission. In order to remember that, I first have to remember who I am. Who am I? What is my name? Where was I born? And what is my birthday? I need to remember something, anything. Age.
Age? That's my little secret.
18.
I look like I'm 18.
I'm 18.
Oh, so that was your age. Well now, I thought you were being a bit too flattering.
When I asked myself how old I was, the number 18 floated into my mind. To be honest, the number 18 felt a bit out of place. My mind felt much younger than that, and my pathetic body felt much older.
I see. So you're 18. And that's all you can remember.
I nodded weakly. I never knew that knowing nothing about yourself could make you feel this powerless.
In that case, until you remember your name, let's give you the name Tohya, written with the characters for 18, until you remember. Hachijo Tohya. What do you think? That sounds pretty cool. Yes, I must say I've impressed myself very much with that one.
Dang. Hachijo Ikuko gave a satisfied laugh. From then on, I took the name Hachijo Tohya. My inability to move my body was apparently due to a traffic incident. On that day, I had been hit by a car, and Ikuko had picked me up from where I lay on the street. If she hadn't hit the brakes, she probably would have driven straight onwards, thinking she'd run over a dead dog or something. Later on, perhaps rudely, I suspected that the one who hit me might have been Ikuko herself. But when I saw her completely undamaged front bumper, I gave up on that theory. Hachijo Ikuko lived in a small but lovely mansion on top of a small hill in a village with a view of the sea. She also owned the hill behind her and was more than capable of enjoying the four seasons in privacy. As time passed slowly, my rehabilitation continued, and my ability to move improved little by little. However, it seemed I really did suffer some form of brain damage. Finding out who I was looked like it would be a very difficult task. In the beginning, when I couldn't bear not knowing my identity, my head often hurt so much it felt as though it would explode. However, as I slowly accepted the fact that I was a new person, with the new name of Hachijo Tohya, the headaches became less frequent. That whole time, no memories returned to me except the fact that I had been 18. However, I was unable to remember any more, unable even to be sure that 18 was my true age, and eventually, I stopped trying to remember my former self.
Good morning, Tohya. That was quite the storm last night. Were you able to sleep well?
I had some trouble falling asleep, so I decided to read your manuscript.
My. How far did you manage to get?
I finished it.
Now there's a surprise. You managed to read through all that in a single night.
I was surprised too. Once I got into it, I'd finished it before I knew it. It was like I was just skimming it, or maybe like I was taking in each page with just a glance.
Makes me think of any of those crazy people out there that have read Umineko all in virtually one sitting. Like
oh
one
my
week.
god.
Yeah.
What?
They're out there. They're out there.
How?
They just don't do anything, I guess. Like, if you're in high school and it's like winter break or summer break, you can probably crank it out. They're real. They live with us on planet Earth.
I don't
Anyway.
want them to.
It sounds like you have some talent at speed reading. So, how was it? What did you think of it?
I liked it a lot. Still, if you don't explain that part about the ocean currents a bit more clearly, it might be a little unfair for a detective novel. Oh. But I thought it was great that you had the foreshadowing with the ring right there at the beginning. After I finished, I had to go back to the beginning and slap myself for being so easily tricked. I think giving people that feeling is what a detective novel does best. Did I say something to offend you? I don't think we've ever had that face from her before. If I did, you have my apologies.
Of course not. Why are you apologizing? I'm just shocked, that's all. Your detailed opinions are worthy of praise, I believe. It seems you have some talent as a critic or a detective novel writer, too.
A detective novel writer. A critic. From across the fog of oblivion, I seem to remember myself fighting and arguing about mysteries, or something like that. That way of fighting, which I must have learned in the past, sent a surge of excitement through me. Oh. Mystery. Fighting. My head hurt. I took a painkiller and swallowed it with fresh water brought up from the well. who am I really? But no matter how much I thought, I couldn't remember. From what I've been told, the frequency of the headaches might be lessened by brain surgery, but there was no guarantee that it would do my memory any good. Ikuko said that she would let me have surgery if I wanted it. However, I refused. Even if I can't remember it, the real me is still there, sleeping inside my head. I was scared that the surgery might harm that me, somehow. By now, I've gotten used to dealing with the headaches. As long as I don't force myself to remember the past, the headaches don't torment me every day. So, bit by bit, I became free of the headaches, and got used to my new life as Hachijo Tohya. Gradually, my interest shifted from myself to Ikuko. Hachijo Ikuko. A very strange woman. First off, she was apparently the daughter of a very well-off family, just as she had said. However, she was considerably eccentric, and the various mischievous incidents she spoke of had apparently gotten her within an inch of being disowned. As a result, she had been given this house and had been ordered to live here quietly and alone. What do I gotta do to be given a house and be told to live quietly and alone?
Like, be born rich.
She had never been a particularly social person, so she happily accepted this new state of affairs, living however she pleased with servants to take care of her. She had no friends. Okay, that part's kinda, yeah. No one ever came to visit. When I wasn't around, she only ever talked to an old black cat she kept as a pet, named Burn. I don't know why, but just the real name being Burn abbreviated is really funny to me.
Hey, Burn.
Yep. I don't know her real age.
I gotta make a new edit.
Yeah?
Say hi, Burn.
Honestly surprised you haven't yet.
For some reason, that they never clicked till now.
She doesn't seem to be too old to marry yet, but with an isolated life like this, she isn't likely to meet people. She sometimes says that she just hasn't met anyone worth the trouble, but I think she's already given up on marriage. Is she above or below the Ningguang threshold for you?
Well, okay. Assuming the fact that this is actually not just Hachijo Tohya, but is in fact Featherine. So super way above it, man.
Yeah? What if it was
for
just
many
Hachijo
reasons.
Tohya?
Without any powers?
Just the human Hachijo Tohya.
I mean, she seems chill. I'd be down.
Yeah,
She'd be beneath the
That's what I was
threshold
gonna say
for me.
too. She doesn't seem that bad when she's just Hachijo Tohya.
Yeah. She's got a cat.
Say hi, Burn.
I gotta figure something out for that. I don't know what for that yet, but yes.
Her everyday life was very simple. She would either read through the many detective novels that were brought to her, or else write detective novels herself. At first, I thought she was some novelist at a private retreat plugging away at a new book. However, the manuscripts she finished just ended up clipped together in a pile. With me as the sole exception, it didn't look like she ever let anyone read them. A novelist is someone who writes novels for people to read. I'm already getting an idea of what may be happening here, but I'm gonna hold my tongue.
Yeah.
Just to learn a little bit more before I say anything.
Okay.
So I figured you could hardly call her a novelist when she kept writing novels no one would ever see. Ikuko-san, why don't you ever show these to anyone?
I show them to you. Only the better ones, of course.
Haven't you ever thought of sending one to some publishing company? It's a waste otherwise, when your works are so interesting.
My works can't stand up against the pros. I sent one in once, but it was absolutely no good. I understand my position. This is just an amateur's pastime.
I don't think amateur is a fitting word for someone who's so well versed in detective novels from all times and all across the world.
Being a big eater doesn't mean you'll make a good cook. Reading every detective novel you can get your hands on is no guarantee that you're a good detective novelist. That's how it is. That's why this is nothing more than a pastime.
Is it really fun to write novels that you won't show to anyone?
It used to be. Once.
What about now?
I like getting to hear your opinions. At any rate, I've finished writing the chapter. I'll go make some tea, so would you mind reading it again and sharing your thoughts with me?
Saying this with a smile, Ikuko thrust a pile of manuscript paper at me. I'm convinced that, whether you read detective novels or write them, they're boring if you're all on your own. You can only find something really precious when you share that world with someone else. Headache.
Her sprite didn't appear on screen. It happened again.
Tohya, are you okay? I'll go get some headache medicine.
I'm fine. I'm more interested in this manuscript. I can't wait for the new chapter. The seasons passed. Oh no. I didn't realize that Solheim was a theater-going witch. Okay, I'm gonna pose my theory that I've formulated, my brief theory. Whoever this Tohya is gonna actually be like the ghostwriter for Ikuko, who poses as the face of Hachijo Tohya.
Yeah.
Because she actually, like, her stuff was never good enough to be published, quote unquote. So then Hachijo Tohya is gonna basically like help her make it better with their critiques and their criticisms, and then that's how Hachijo Ikuko becomes so famous as a writer, using the pen name of Hachijo Tohya. And maybe this is a big stretch because we have like nothing confirming it other than the fact that 18. Maybe it's Ange.
You think so?
And so then that's how we're gonna come full circle, and it's gonna be like Ange was actually writing all of them the whole time. Which would be crazy, but also the only thing I have that could even give me any support for that theory right now is the person being 18 if they are 18. Go ahead.
I know what to do. Say hi, Burn. Me, Nipa.
Yeah. Okay, that's my theory. Let's see how it plays out.
Precisely. I don't want to say anything, so
Yeah,
I came up with something funny to say instead.
The seasons passed. Together with Ikuko, this town whose name I didn't even know, in this town whose name I didn't even know, we spent our days debating detective novels and talking about ideas for new plots. At a glance, they may have appeared to be stale and unproductive days. However, Hachijo Tohya found satisfaction with this new life. Orange. Rhymes with door hinge.
So true. Drake and Josh on Rokkenjima in 1986.
Drake? Where's the door?
Drake, where's the chain set?
Yeah, Drake. Where's the master key?
I'm gonna get it. It's in the room.
Oh, really? So go get the master key.
All right, fine. I see the problem.
Oh, Tohya!
Now I have 2 edits I need to make. Okay.
Yep.
And so, the curtain closes on the strange tale of Kurokubi Island. The end.
With a dramatic flourish of her pen, Ikuko signified that her manuscript was now complete.
What do you think? I tried using your plot to make Tsujiko's tragic love scene at the end a bit more moving.
I think it's very good. I'd say the last farewell is sad enough to make it a moving story. But to make it moving as a story, not just a reasoning puzzle.
That's all thanks to your plot. Compared to this work, everything I've written before now is worth little more than scrap paper. Even as I was writing it, I was excited to be the first person in the world who got to read it. I've never felt that before.
I just mentioned some ideas. You're the one who turned them into such a fascinating story, Ikuko-san. At some point, she roped me in as well, and I too started my journey in the world of writing detective novels. Apparently, the old me had some talent for mysteries and detective novels and the like, and my talent seemed to be of a fairly unorthodox kind. I tried turning famous mysteries from across the world on their head, twisting those ideas into something new. However, a few ideas aren't enough to make a book. No meal is complete if all you can do is chop up vegetables. They're really liking their food analogies when it comes to stuff in the Hachijo house.
It just makes sense.
Thanks to Ikuko's writing, a skill she had built up over many years, my ideas were transformed into a work of fiction. In this work, The Strange Tale of Kurokubi Island, the two of us merged the best of our respective personalities. And, though I hate to brag, it had turned into a masterpiece that we could show to anyone without shame.
Hello. Please bring us some champagne. Bring a glass for yourself as well. This is the best job we've done so far, so let's celebrate.
Ikuko called for some champagne over the internal phone line. These rich Japanese families and their internal phone lines. Joined by the servant who happened to be working that day and the cat Bern, we raised our glasses high and toasted our accomplishment. Ikuko-san, I have an idea if you don't mind.
Let's hear it. I love hearing your ideas, as long as I'm not in the shower or on the can.
Dang. Why don't we try submitting our book? I've never read anything this interesting before. I'm sure lots of other people will want to read it.
You think so? I tried once in the past, thinking the same thing, but the result was...
I believe in your talent, Ikuko-san. What about you?
Of course, I believe in your talent.
Then it's decided. To Ikuko-san's big debut.
To Tohya's big debut.
We clinked our glasses once more. And on it went. We must have had way too much to drink. Before I knew it, I must have passed out on the sofa. There was a blanket covering me. Ikuko-san must have put it there. The lights were out in the study, but it wasn't dark. The computer's monitor was glowing. Outside, it had started to rain. It reminded me of the day Ikuko-san found me and took me in. Because of that, whenever it rains, I find myself wondering who I was, and I usually get headaches. So I wasn't sure whether the pain was because of the rain, or because I drank too much. Ikuko-san, turn on the lights. Using a computer in the dark is bad for your eyes.
Oh, did I wake you up?
No, I slept well. I feel refreshed now. I turned on the light and looked out through a gap in the curtains. And as I thought, it was the sort of pouring rain that always reminded me of that day. It's raining pretty hard out there. The wind looks pretty strong too. I hope the rain gutters don't get clogged with leaves again.
I just cleaned them the other day, so they should be fine for a while.
Her answer sounded a little abstracted. Apparently, her attention was absorbed by the computer. You've been pretty hooked by that computer lately, Ikuko-san. Did you find an interesting article or something?
This may be a bit juvenile, but it's still pretty interesting. It's about that Rokkenjima incident.
Rokkenjima?
I told you about the Rokkenjima mystery a few days ago, remember? It's been really huge on the net lately. The discussions, theories, and even the forgeries have been quite entertaining. Forgeries are stories, all based on the premise that yet another message bottle, signed by Ushiromiyas, existed and drifted to one of the nearby islands.
Ikuko kept showing off her knowledge of the subject. However, a huge bell was clanging inside my head. The noise was so great that I thought my head would split open. Unable to tell what was the floor and what was the ceiling, I crumpled and clutched at my head.
Tohya, are you okay?
My head hurts. The Rokkenjima explosion accident. The many disquieting rumors surrounding it. The scheming of the relatives who were after Ushiromiya Kenzo's vast wealth and hidden gold. And the truth? Ushiromiya Eva, the sole survivor, said nothing. Eventually, everything would be inherited by the granddaughter, Ushiromiya Ange, who escaped harm because she was absent on that day. Or perhaps this is, oh wait, never mind. Ange. Ushiromiya Ange. I am Ushiromiya. Gah! No good. My head's getting split open. Incomprehensible scenes pierced my eyelids from the inside like blades of light. Just what am I looking at? Who are these people calling to me, but not by the name of Tohya? Who am I? Who are these people? What is this memory? Help me, Ikuko. Someone else's memory is hurting me. My head's splitting. I could hear the sorrowful sound of wind. And that must be rain. Who was I again? I am Ushiromiya. Oh. Are these security guards? Like, is this a flashing back to her jumping off the building?
I'm not positive of where we are.
I'll just say it in normal voice then.
Yeah.
Ange! Please.
Please say something.
Voices calling to me. Ah.
Okay, well.
Dad. And Mom. Oh, it would have been both of us.
True.
It can't be. In 1986, on Rokkenjima, Mom and Dad...
I was thinking of that. Ange, hang in there. Can you hear Daddy's voice?
Please say something, Ange! Dad? Mom? Say it out loud. Dad? Mom?
Ange! Ange, thank goodness!
I could feel my body being lifted up firmly and hugged roughly. Mom and Dad were hugging me. My eyelids have been open for a while now. I could feel the light slowly returning to my eyes. Just like your eyes get used to the dark, my eyes got used to the light. And bit by bit, the scene around me came into view. However, it was an unusual sight, which seemed to be very far away. My body was being hugged by Dad and Mom. Dad was sniffling, his face covered with tears. There were tears in Mom's eyes too as she held me tight. It was so strong that it hurt a bit. They held me with all their strength. Me, the bad kid who wasn't obedient, who always had an excuse, and who always tried to do the opposite of what her parents said. They held me tight to make sure I didn't head down the wrong path. As my eyes adjusted, I could see other people besides my parents. Everyone was there. George One-chan, Jessica One-chan, Maria One-chan, my uncles and aunts, even Sakutaro. And there was the witch Virgilia, and Ronove, and... Where?
You were fortunate. By chance, we found you drifting in the waves of the Sea of Emptiness. You were in a terrible state. It took quite some time to make you remember your true form.
Beatrice. So, this is...
The Golden Lane. Your whole family has been waiting here for you to return.
We knew you would come home. Did I come home because I was supposed to? I've gone back to how I'm supposed to be, and now...
No, you did come home.
That's right. You made it back here because you wanted to come home to us. Dad? Mom? You don't need to say anything. You've been on a great and terrible journey, haven't you? A journey where you were all alone.
You understand now, don't you? You won't forget again?
I understand, Dad.
This is a place you can always call home.
I know. When I gave that answer, Dad and Mom hugged me again. Hot tears fell onto my face. They were Dad's and Mom's tears.
I can tell by looking that you're far from all right. But I'm so glad. Glad you came home.
Aunt Ava.
Feel free to hate me as much as you want. Give your dad and mom a million kisses. Give a kiss to everyone who cared about you so much.
Aunt Ava. And say I'm home to your other mother. Mom gave me a push from behind, and I stumbled forwards, towards my other mother. Ava. Mom.
Ange-chan.
If only I'd call you Mom on that day, I might never have messed up. We might have been able to create a new world together.
That's enough. You've come home. You don't need to say anything else.
Mom! Mom!
Welcome home, Ange-chan. You're my adorable daughter.
Mom! Always, and until the end, you were my closest friend.
The two of them hugged each other quietly, burying their faces in the other's shoulders and sobbing. The truth wasn't worth anything at all. In the first place, the truth is always in the past. The point of the future isn't to learn what happened in the past.
What really matters is whether I can truly live and prosper in the truth that is the now. If I truly live and prosper, that is the truth. Back when I only ever tried to see the truth of the past, I was nothing more than a ghost trapped in that past. Since that time, I haven't lived a single day. Now, I truly understand. This is what the real truth is. I will live. And I've remembered how much everyone loved me. Because I was so young and selfish, I didn't even remember until now. The kind grandpa who always spoiled me. The entertaining aunts and uncles. All of the kind and gentle servants. It was always warm. And yet, because I was young and cruel, I never tried to remember any of that. Everyone got distorted by my irresponsible imagination, and I completely forgot the truth. Now, I can remember clearly, and I understand. That Halloween quiz party certainly was an illusion. It never happened. However, didn't we do all kinds of fun things when the relatives gathered? Things that were no more or less fun than that party? And, for the first time since the start of the game, I went up to each and every one of them to greet them, thank them, and apologize. To thank Grandpa for always pampering me. To thank my aunts and uncles. To thank the cousins for always playing with me, even though I was so selfish. And I thanked and apologized to the illusions. I think I said something horrible to Sakataro once in the past. And to Maria One-chan too. Maria One-chan, you really were a witch, weren't you?
I've always been a witch. You approached that level yourself once, didn't you?
No. I never really understood. Pitiful Maria One-chan with her pitiful magic. That's all I thought of it. So, I couldn't pick up a fragment of happiness. Couldn't even find one. You told me that yourself once. One-chan.
It can't be helped. It takes two to create a universe. I had Beato, but you were all alone.
No. If I had called Aunt Ava Mom, there would have been two of us. I'm sure I would have been able to create a new world with the same magic you used, Maria One-chan.
All of it is my fault. The message bottles I threw away have jokingly distorted your future and wore you down. I bear responsibility for that.
Yeah, seriously. It's all because of your message bottles. Because of that, people started copying you and making forgeries, growing the story into something crazy. However, the message bottles thrown away by Beato did not name a specific person as the culprit. One of the forgers wrote a plausible forgery that had Ushiromiyas as the culprit, and it spread like a wildfire. Even though I should have known better than anyone else that it was impossible, I accepted it in the end. It isn't your fault, Beato. No matter how many people around me had baseless suspicions, there should have been only one truth inside me. And yet, so easily, I abandoned my warm memories of you all and surrendered my heart to them.
No. If I had not thrown away the message bottles, the future of Rokkenjima would never have become the center of such bizarre misconceptions. I bear responsibility for it all.
True. That's right. It really is your fault after all.
Average sister-in-law interaction.
Oh, put that away. It's a little irritating. You do have your share of the blame as well.
Put that way. I said away.
Yeah, you're right. You were at fault. And so was I. Still, it'd be stupid for us to attack each other. After all, I'm a witch of the future. You're a witch of the past. I should be using that magic to build my future. We both bear responsibility in some way, but neither of us has the right to blame the other.
I knew you'd be able to understand Mariage Sorcier's teachings, Ange.
That's right. As the final member of Mariage Sorcière, it's my responsibility to pass on One-chan's magic.
My magic can make everyone happy.
Indeed. You have both pure magic and wicked magic at your fingertips.
That's true. Magic can change completely depending on your heart. If you aren't properly guided, you can't use magic properly. And proper magic can bring people happiness. It's a wonderful thing. Bringing people happiness is the sole reason that witches wield magic. I'm very pleased to know that those teachings will be passed down through the Endless Witches, all the way to the final witch.
Sorry for failing to pass it down myself after all. Or at all.
Witch of the future, Ange Beatrice. I will now retract your expulsion from Mariage Sorcière.
Who are you? I knew Ange would come back.
Congratulations, Ange-sama.
I thought I knew that the time we spent traveling together meant what the time we spent traveling together meant. And yet Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Witches cannot create a universe unless there are two. In the future, you will be alone. Will you really be okay?
Yeah, I'll be okay. I'm not alone anymore. I'll live with everyone. And I'll live in the future. I swear to keep living so that I can pass on the magic of Mariage Sorcière. Maria One-chan's magic has saved me too. There are a lot of people out there who need magic. As the final witch of Mariage Sorcière, it is my duty to teach it the right way and save as many people as I can.
Will you truly be able to do so?
Of course. I have the power to do it. There's the golden magic that my predecessor, Eva Beatrice, spent so much time building. I've inherited all of that, right?
Well, if only my health had held out a little longer, I was planning to spend all of it on myself.
Dang.
As Ange laughed, tears poured from her eyes again. Everyone surrounded Ange with their kind, warm smiles.
So,
Yeah.
there is still a slight problem. There's...
What are you talking about?
Battler stood alone in the rose garden maze, letting the rain quietly fall on him. After searching for some time, Ange found him.
Oni-chan.
Ange, who was feeling guilty, sensed anger in her brother's expression. She thought he was going to hit her. So she shut her eyes. However, her brother touched her softly. He patted her head gently. Hey. The truth wasn't anything important, was it?
No, it wasn't. Even though you were here, waiting for me to come home in such a warm world, I had my back turned the whole time.
You learned the truth.
Yeah.
So, any hopes you had of someone miraculously surviving and coming back have been crushed. However, you now have a new mission. A hope for living in the future.
You kept that precious hope safe for me. I was the one who opened the box and let it get away. It turned out worse than Pandora's box. The truth I didn't need to know flew out of the box along with all my hopes, leaving nothing inside but empty space.
That's okay. It's open now, and that's that. If it's empty inside, that means it won't fester. After all, false hopes can sometimes bring you pain. Battler laughed heartily. Then, with that same smile on his face, he told her, "We're already dead."
Yeah.
You've lived 12 years on the hope that we might still be alive. Not anymore. That's over and done with.
Yeah. I know. Starting now, I'll step forward into a new life.
Beato put Rokkenjima in the cat box. The next witch, Anteva, guarded the lid of that cat box her whole life. You, the witch after her, opened that lid. But so what? Why does the truth of the past matter?
Yeah. From now on, I'll truly live, and I'll make my own personal truth prosper.
Good luck, final witch of Mariage Sorcière. I've read Maria's grimoire. It's a great book, with some really good stuff written in it. Even the Bible needs a translator. So Maria's grimoire probably needs one too. You'll be that translator. You gotta teach kids who are in the position you once were. That's your mission, as the new witch of the future.
Yeah?
I'm gone. But I'll always be behind you, watching over you.
I know. And not just you. Everyone else too.
All of us will love you forever. Don't forget that.
I won't forget. Not ever. And that's for certain.
Ange leapt into Battler's chest and sobbed. Humans are sad creatures who can learn, but not unlearn. She had already learned. It may have been a cruel, terrifying, merciless thing, capable of destroying even the miracle called hope. However, there was still one tiny fragment left, gripped in her hand. Her family's love. If she can just remember that and hold it tight, then surely Ange will live on. She'll be able to stop before taking that single step into nothingness. Also, the Rokkenjima cat box hasn't been opened completely. You've just taken a peek at what's inside. So, you must be the lid yourself. And this time, you'll protect everyone inside the cat box. Me and Dad and Kyrie-san, the cousins and the uncles and the aunts, grandfather and the servants, and all of the illusions.
Yeah. This time, I have to protect everyone.
Then shouldn't you hurry up a bit? Oh, sorry, that was you.
Yeah, I also didn't know. Oh, yeah, okay.
Then shouldn't you hurry up a bit?
The sound of popcorn being eaten rang out from behind a rose bush. It was Lambdadelta.
I think you know this already, but Bern is just about to hold a big party for the Book of the Single Truth. She's gathered beings from heaven and from hell, from the spirit world and from parallel worlds. If she announces what's in that book in a place like that, it'll be all too late, won't it?
I'm going. I gave Bernkastel that key. It's my responsibility. I'll go and take it back.
The City of Books, huh? But there's no way for us to get in. There's a barrier around that place.
She gave me this. With it, I can come and go as I please. What an idiot. She forgot to collect it when she threw me away.
Ange fished through her pocket, and there was a jingling sound. It was a bell with a blue ribbon tied to it.
That's it. One of those temporary entry passes that you get when you turn in your invitation. As long as you have that, at least one of you will be able to get into the City of Books. Well, as long as someone takes you across the Sea of Fragments first.
Lambdadelta, take me to the City of Books.
Ange,
This is my way of taking responsibility. I'll see to it that the Book of the Single Truth isn't made public.
Are you serious? That place is a den of monsters among monsters. Now that you've lost Bern's protection, you'll be weaker than a fly. Squish! The end.
the bell was snatched from Ange's hands. Lambdadelta, I'll go. I just need you to get me in there. After all, I'm an empty creature, unable to exist outside the cat box. Ange, on the other hand, must live on into the future. And you're a person with a future too. So I'll go. I have nothing to lose. Not true.
No! This is my responsibility. My way of making up for what I did. If I don't do it myself, the future won't change at all. I won't be able to save any future cat boxes.
Ange tried to snatch the key from Battler's hand, but Battler had no intention of giving it up. The two of them were grimly serious, but from the sidelines, it looked like an ordinary squabble between two close siblings. Lambdadelta watched this conversation and shrugged. Actually, we'll send Goda.
True.
If she just took one of them to the City of Books, she wouldn't have to make any enemies, and there was no risk to her. All she cared about was which one would make the story more interesting. Should I save?
Nope.
Okay. Nothing else. But then, she finally noticed.
Hold on. Hold on a sec, you two. Hold on.
What's your problem? Save it for later.
We're having an important sibling discussion here.
Okay, first off, let go of each other's hands. Battler's holding the bell now, right? Jump, Battler.
Jump? Like this? It made the sound for you. It made...
You next, Ange. Try jumping.
Why the hell should I...
Huh?
Huh? Why?
If Battler was holding the bell, where did that sound come from? Ange hurriedly searched through her pockets. When she did, another blue ribbon bell came out of a different pocket than the first one.
Classic.
Oh, how convenient. How can... What is... Did Erika, like, sneak a fucking bell in her pocket or some shit while they were talking?
I straight up don't remember how or why this is happening.
What? These are the same, aren't they?
No way. Why are there two? I was only given one of them.
I don't know why. At any rate, you've got two bells that'll get you into the City of Books. Now I don't have to sit here and watch the two of you play around with each other anymore.
The pair of them gripped their bells and looked at each other.
From the very beginning, this game has belonged to the two of you. There's just been a slight change in who the opponent is. This isn't a competition between you two. It's a fight between Battler and Ange, who want to close the lid on the cat box, and Bern, who wants it opened. Ange has moved from Bern's team to Battler's team. That's all there is to it.
Lambdadelta, take us to the City of Books.
Okay, I'm taking you there. Got it? After that, I'm done being anything but a spectator. I just want to have the best seats to see exactly how you fight, what you do, and how Bern makes mincemeat out of you all.
Lambdadelta, thanks.
Why the
One
sudden
more chapter
brightness? Why?
It got rid of the rain.
Yeah,
the
who
rain
took
effect.
off the rain filter? Who took off?
Buddy, that means there's only 2 chapters left.
Oh, don't tell me that. Don't.
Also, that
I
chapter
wanna
was
stay in the
called.
cat box forever.
That one was Hachijo Ikuko.
Hachijo Ikuko.
2 to go.
The ships.
Yes.
I forgot about these. I forgot they were standing guard.
Yeah.
Shannon
They
and
got
Canon
this.
stood guard in front of the door to the Golden Land. They glared quietly and fearlessly at the eerie fleet of ships across the horizon. Shannon slowly lifted her hands. Canon raised his right hand, and a red blade appeared there.
Stop right there. I forbid you to come any closer.
If you do, I'll kill you.
I'm just thinking about it now. How weird that you ended up being Canon, Shannon, and Beatrice.
You know, it was meant to be, I suppose.
Apparently. They could see a single dinghy leaving the fleet and approaching them. Oh, it's gonna be her.
Who?
They couldn't tell if it was a messenger or the first wave. Shannon and Canon watched it cautiously. Here she comes. Yep.
You're not ready.
Oh my god! No way! Impeccable fashion sense, as per usual, Erika.
Do you remember how when we were talking about the Erika build, both in mine and that Reddit person's, had them having proficiency in sea vehicles?
I understand. Oh.
Yes.
At the head of that dinghy rowed by goats stood Erika. Where the heck did she get that thing from? Maybe she's trying to act the part of the fleet's leader. Erika was glaring at them and smiling aggressively, with what appeared to be a pirate hat on her head. I like the idea that even the narrator's like, what? Where'd she get that from? Where?
Yeah.
I've come to deliver our terms. There will be room for negotiation. Please open the gate.
Shannon and Kenon looked at each other. Erika was the one offering this deal. It wasn't likely to be anything agreeable. However, if they turned her away, the attack would probably begin at once. Since they were in a firmly inferior position, they wanted to buy time by any means they could. At Shannon's nod, Kenon erased his sword. The Golden Land was filled with a hard downpour accompanied by occasional thunder. Erika, who realized that this weather spoke for their emotions, smiled even more boldly.
I want this scene animated so bad.
At the center of the Golden Land was the arbor surrounded by the Golden Rose Garden. Dillonor and Erika are going to square up against each other, oh no. A large number of humans and illusions were there, arguing about something. Even without asking, it was easy to guess the nature of the debate by their anguished expressions. After all, in this life or death situation, they didn't have many options they could take. In the direction Erika was being led, Beato stood waiting, accompanied by the shyster sister Koro. When Erika, accompanied by her goat guards, saw Beato, she gave a bow that only appeared graceful. Beato followed suit, and gave a graceful bow of the sort that was rarely seen from her.
Oh, did I tell you that I learned where that word came from for the shyster sister core?
You did not.
It's actually really clever. They took the Chester from Winchester.
Oh.
And then, specifically, Ryukishi in an interview said that if you add love, then even toy rabbits can become guns. But in Japanese, love is I.
Mm-hmm.
So if you add an I to Chester...
Shyster.
Yeah.
That is really clever.
And then you already caught on to the fact that they're all also ammunition types.
Yeah, yeah. 45, 410, 00.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the other one? 556?
I think so, yeah. Anyway.
I am Beatrice, master of the Golden Land and the Golden and Endless Witch. Announce yourself.
True blue rat invasion, Duke Onklid. As though implying that she was more than happy to go through with this farce, Beato introduced herself boldly and requested that Erika do the same.
We have been dispatched from the Great Witch of Theater-going Drama and Spectating's noble city of carefully selected books. I am the Witch of Truth, the commander of the library fleet, which is committed to bestowing honor and protection to books. My name is Furudo Erika. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Shall we get down to business? You ought to celebrate. We of the library fleet dedicated to offering honor and protection to books have come to bring good news to you all. First, I would like to announce that, after careful selection, the City of Books has acknowledged and accepted the game board created by the Endless Witch Beatrice as a great and honorable book. Oh, that is indeed a great honor. That game board is a profoundly entertaining and original masterpiece worthy of close study. It deserves to be released for all of our subjects to read. And so, the City of Books has ordered us to grant eternal honor and protection to this game board. This is all quite long and boring. Get to the point. We demand that you hand the entirety of this game board over to the Honorable City of Books. Doing so will give this board and its pieces the greatest honor and protection imaginable. And if we refuse, you will be prosecuted for the crime of monopolizing a great cultural artifact that ought to be shared among all of our subjects. We are here to notify you of the impending assault, one which will be waged by us to protect the benefits that are the rightful property of all subjects, not yours alone. Are you not concerned that the shared property of all subjects might be destroyed in this assault of yours? According to the Great Library Protective Regulations, when a criminal guilty of monopolization of a cultural artifact raises that objection as you have now done, the Executive Fleet may prioritize arrest over its protective duties as long as they obtain permission from the Great Court. Of course, we have already obtained the Great Court's written authorization. I imagine the word arrest is closely followed by dead or alive. Am I right? My. I'm impressed that you can read those tiny letters. Now, enough fooling around. Let's hear your answer. What do we have to gain by accepting your conditions? Both of us will be saved a troublesome task. Furthermore, your brave and noble acts will be recorded as a glorious final chapter in the City of Books. You do understand, right? You have no chance of winning. This isn't even a fight. It's just you, sitting there at the bottom of a well, while people throw stones at you. So, you claim that I have the power to choose nothing except how the library witches will record my final moments. The rest depends on you. If you treasure this game board, you ought to surrender. The pieces will be treasured by our many loyal subjects for all time, and will be able to continue their roles on into eternity. In other words, the tragedies I created at will shall repeat forevermore. How is that any different from what you've been doing so far? It isn't. Is there anything else? If not, allow me to give you my answer. Go ahead.
Erika tensed slightly. After all, this was the great Lady Beatrice she was dealing with. Yeah, put respect on her name. She might shout, "Here is my answer," dramatically and do something crazy. They say a cornered rat is the most likely to bite a cat. Furthermore, Erika had intel telling her that the great Lady Lambdadelta, Witch of the Senate, had been spending her time inside the Golden Land, though only as a theater-goer. Erika needed to carry out this noble task that her master had assigned to her, and she had to carry it out perfectly. If she was honest, she wanted to make Beato raise a white flag, even by trickery if necessary. So, even though this was a farce, she held back from giving any unneeded provocation. She gulped and tried to size Beato up. And then, with a pathetic expression on her face, Beato let out a sigh.
I'll be honest. The truth is, I'm tired. What do you mean by that? My game had already achieved its purpose when my fight with Badla ended.
At the end of questions arcs. At the end.
And yet, for various reasons, the game has repeated several times since then. To be perfectly honest, I am tired of it.
Aw, poor Beato.
To be honest, that isn't the answer I was expecting at all. So you want to surrender? Really? Simply put, I don't care either way. It doesn't matter whether I surrender or whether we vanquished you. We're vanquished by you. I simply wish to have the curtain closed on this game board and tale, regardless of who does the deed.
Of course. That was a lie. She knew she couldn't win even if she fought. For now, their best option was to play for time. That's what I figured. They would fix Erika's attention to this spot, and during that time, Battler and the others would steal the key from Bernkastel while she was completely off her guard. Once they had the key, they would return to the Golden Land, use that key to let Ange open the door to the future, and see her off. That was their goal line. Everything that happened after that would be inside the cat box. Ange would live on into the future with hope. No one would know whether Beato and the others were alive or dead. That was enough. The only strategy Beato and the others could use to achieve this was to buy time.
If you do surrender, it may be a bit of an anticlimax, but it will save me a lot of trouble.
I've got it, Beato. Just be like, yeah, I just want to make sure we do this right, though, so can we, like, get a bunch of paperwork out? And
The other option I consider is Beatrice being like, I'm not sure. Why don't we have a democratic vote amongst everybody here? We'll enter into caucus.
You know, I don't really want to step on everyone else's toes. Let's go ask all of them.
Exactly. George, give us the pros and cons. That alone will take days. Yeah.
Let's think about the posterior proposition.
Probability.
Probability. Contrapositive Hempel's posterior.
True.
But, well, it is not quite so simple. You see, and this is just between you and me. As you may know, the great lady Lambdadelta is staying here. She is, pushing us to show her dramatic climax. That's a pretty cruel whim to force on someone. How are a few wimpy people in what's basically an already solved puzzle supposed to fight against our fleet?
Yeah, how are they gonna do that? Yeah, no, it's crazy. They wouldn't be able to. They wouldn't.
With its hundreds of thousands of troops. Very true, very true. The Eben's strength is overwhelming. We told her that it wouldn't even be a fight, but... well, Lady Lambdadelta didn't listen, and just said she would bring some of her friends to support us, so we should fight with everything we had. Lady Lambdadelta's... friends?
Uh-oh. That's good. That actually is a good bluff. That's a really good bluff. Unlike Bernkastel, who kept to herself, Lambdadelta had many friends. Her friends and patrons were either territory lords of great influence who came from all over the place, or else monsters that had become legends in their own lifetimes. In all seriousness, her so-called fan club, that's me, I'm in that, had enough size and influence that it could have suddenly declared itself a separate country in the Sea of Fragments without anyone being overtly surprised. That's me and you. We're getting called in right now. We're getting...
Yeah, we gotta show up.
This is where our sprites enter the story. We're here to help, Lambda.
I'll only do it if we're in the old Ryukishi art style.
No, literally, that's all she would need. Just send us in, and Lambda goes, there she is, pointing at Erika, and you'll just, boom! It's over.
True.
Cut the head of the snake. Cut.
This is quite a problem for us, with Lady Lambdadelta all ready for action. Without any regard for us, she keeps calling up friends and acquaintances on the phone from all over the place, telling them to come over.
Of course. This was all a lie.
Oh boy.
Lambdadelta had turned into a small candy comet and was now shooting towards the city of books with Battler and Ange in tow. So, to make sure that Lambdadelta's and Battler's absences were not noticed, everyone was crowded around the arbor, pretending to argue furiously with each other. Even that's fake. That's funny.
Battler-sama, give us your decision. We, the Seven Sisters of Purgatory, are prepared for death at any time.
I firmly oppose taking a last stand that would lead to our deaths. What could possibly be gained by dying?
How can you be such a coward? Is it inconceivable that we should live on in shame as prisoners? It is inconceivable that we should live on in shame as prisoners. There are times when the mere fact of being alive gives one opportunities.
Yes, indeed. A short temper makes a bad leader.
But if you call yourself a man, now's the time to act like one. The great Lambdadelta Sama is even willing to help out, right?
I agree. These are the times when a man has to take a tough decision.
In many cases, the timing of a decision is more valuable than the decision itself. Who asked you?
If we surrender, they might not be violent.
Maria asked him.
You can't be serious. Weren't you supposed to be a male lion? Where are your fangs now?
If death awaits us regardless, I would rather die as a wolf than a pig.
Are you stupid? Are you saying you want to die like a dog?
That's extremely out of character for you. That's...
It all depends on the strength of the support Lambdadelta-san can provide.
Careful calling her Lambdadelta-san, non-Joe.
They're familiar.
Good friends, actually.
Yeah.
Lambdadelta-san, are your friends really strong enough to win against them?
It's a bet. We'll either surrender and die, or we'll lose a bet and die.
Interesting. In that case, our chances for survival must be higher if we take that bet.
An honorable surrender will surely cause the Great Court to show mercy.
Say it.
They're backed by the Senate, aren't they? Sure, they'll him and haw, but we'll all see the guillotine in the end.
Anyway, let's all calm down. Cool your heads. I'm opposed to letting our emotions control us.
Why don't you calm down first? We have another possible strategy. Mutually assured destruction.
That is such a George line. That is...
We might not be able to win, but if we can convince them that we plan on taking enough of them with us, that might force our opponents to show restraint.
So basically, if they're determined to attack, we'll let them know we aren't going down without doing some damage first.
All of Lambdadelta's friends are incredible. She knows lots and lots of witches, beasts, demons, and gods, all of which have really, really huge legends and histories. Even if those ships outnumber the stars in the sky, Lambdadelta's friends would wipe them out with a single blast.
Will this really work? She hasn't seen through our act yet, has she? Shut up! Go
Do
down.
not blow
Shut
it up, man.
Genji grabbing him by the collar like, shut your mouth right now.
It is working. You must speak more forcefully as well. Do not worry about politeness.
Enough, you gutless swine!
Oh, here's the man who will sell it. Here's the...
Do you lack the backbone to finish with a bang?
Hold on! Don't forget that some of us are opposed to fighting. I think we should surrender.
What? Koro, you loser-loving fool!
Oh, Master, it's just an act. Ah!
Well, it looks like the debate has gotten quite heated.
So, will we surrender or will we fight back? Which will it be?
I swear if there's applause. Okay. Nobody knows!
Amazing.
Okay.
Personally speaking, I would like to surrender. If my role will end either way, I would prefer that my game board be preserved the way I made it. I could not bear to have Lady Lambdadelta continue to use it however she pleases.
Sorry, I forgot
We
about
don't-
that.
We don't want that either. I came here to fight you, but I'm no match for Lady Lambdadelta's friends.
Secretly, Erika was getting worried by these complicated developments. And she was relieved that she hadn't pushed too hard earlier on. She wanted to flatter Beato and end this with a bloodless takeover. Even the great Lady Lambdadelta probably wouldn't seriously think of picking a fight with the Senate. Her motive was probably something much more trivial, a simple desire to watch the game board's final fireworks from a front row seat. However, if she really did have some fireworks of her own prepared, it was at least possible that this could turn into a ruckus that Erika would have no chance of quelling. Beato saw all of this going on in Erika's mind. So she continued to act with an even more pathetic expression on her face, Even amongst witches, her acting ability was top-notch.
Might you be willing to lend us some of your strength, so that my gamebot's beauty will be preserved? Truly, it was a great error to invite that busybody as a guest. I understand. I'd like to end this quietly too, if I can. So, how can we work together? For some time now, we have been arguing over whether we should surrender or resist. I intend to return to them and propose that we surrender and ask Lady Lambdadelta not to do anything that might destroy the game board. That would please me very much. So, what should I do? I would like you to guarantee that we have the necessary time to debate the matter.
Hey look, it is the democracy!
After all, your ships are surrounding and pressuring us at the moment. Everyone is so tense at the thought that we may be attacked at any time that they're falling apart. So, if you guarantee that we will have enough time to discuss this amongst ourselves, everyone will surely be able to keep their composure during that time. Furthermore, I will have enough time to convince Lady Lambdadelta. Very well. About how long do you need? Would you be gracious and avoid giving a specific time limit? If a time limit is imposed, everyone will just fall apart again as the limit nears, possibly leading to a more radical decision. You have a point there. The most important thing about a fuse is whether it's lit or not. The length of the fuse is a trivial matter. In that case, will you give us the time we need? Understood. I guarantee that you'll have time to discuss it. However, that time won't be unlimited. I'll wait here and listen in on your discussion. Well, as far as that goes, it is true that your mere presence here has everyone on edge. I've already made my concessions. Isn't it your turn now? Ugh.
They were some distance away from the arbor, but it was just close enough to give a general idea of what was going on. It was far enough that they just might be able to hide the fact that Battler and Lambdadelta were missing. Just far enough for them to convincingly act like this was a white-hot argument in gridlock. If it were possible, they would rather have kept Erika at an even greater distance. They had planned to set up a seat of honor for their guest at one of the far corners of the garden maze.
I was drinking.
Ah.
Is there some sort of problem? Okay. Don't make such a scary face. In that case, please wait here. This is a confidential conference. So you must, come no closer than this line.
Beatrice drew a line in the ground with her foot. Yep.
Let them see me in a good light. If it's clear that I've obtained a generous agreement from you, that will be a powerful weapon in my hands in the debate. Could I get a chair? Yes, of course. Shyster Chips, bring Lady Erika a chair and umbrella at once. And a hand towel, too. I'll wipe it nice and clean for you.
She's being silly again. Milady, have there been any developments in our negotiations?
If anything's certain, it's that I'll be winning this year's prize for Best Actress.
That's our Beatrice-sama.
All we can do is argue fiercely, squabble amongst ourselves, and make it look like things will turn for the worse if negotiations break down. Indeed. This is yet another fight to support Battler's group. Get yourselves ready, everyone. Let us argue and insult with all we have.
That's what they're best at.
True! Got it!
Yes, master. The sight of Goda, his cheek red and swollen from being pinched, made everyone snort. But they quickly covered their mouths and put fingers to their lips. Then everyone nodded at each other, and the fake argument resumed. Erika was sitting in the chair that the Shyster sisters had brought her.
Lady Beatrice, your permission to assassinate, if you please. We can do it. Erika will sense nothing.
You do not have permission. Do you think an envoy would leave their ship without setting a time limit? Their fleet probably has orders to attack if it isn't contacted within a certain period of time. Let that goat go.
00 understood.
The goat passed through the door. Then, after receiving a silent bow from Shannon and Cannon, it got on the dinghy and returned to the fleet. The fleet would probably follow Erika's orders and stand by until an attack order was given. That gave the residents of the Golden Land a chance to assassinate Erika. Oh boy, that's a tall order. But of course, that wasn't going to be possible, practically speaking. She was Bernkastel's greatest underling and a witch who controlled truth. Tricking her was all they could hope for. Anything else would be overconfident.
Why don't you all have a seat too?
You need have no worries about us.
Without any hint that she had just been talking about assassinations, 00 stood upright with her hands clasped behind. That's an unfortunate outfit to be wearing in the rain. Surrender or resist until the end. The false argument resumed. Just how far and how long would they be able to trick Erika? Yes, the final fight for the Golden Land had already begun. What?
Your internet, I think, zonked out.
Oh, oh, great heavens! What did you hear last?
Clasped behind her hands, or behind her back. Her hands clasped behind her back.
Okay. Without a hint that she had just been talking about assassinations, 00 stood upright with her hands clasped behind her back. Surrender, or resist until the end. The false argument resumed. Just how far and how long would they be able to trick Erika? Yes, the final fight for the Golden Land had already begun.
What? The piano sounded really silly. That was all that time.
Battler, you can count on us to handle things here. It's time for you and Ange to take this final game back.
Are we gonna be in the Sea of Fragments? Oh no, we're already at the city, okay.
Yay!
I have to use the restroom, so I'm gonna take a break for a second.
Okay. What's the name of the city, everybody? I actually can't remember the full name already. It's a long name. It's like the Witch of Theater Going, Drama and Spectatings. City of Carefully Selected Books? Is that it? Am I close? Oh well. What do you think's gonna happen? They're already there. How long can they go undetected here? Can they get this key? And what's gonna happen back in the Golden Land while they're buying time? Eventually, like, they're gonna show up, and they're probably not gonna be able to hide Ange leaving for long. We're getting close to the end game now, everybody. And also, if you noticed, this is the first description in the whole series that I ended it with "stay tuned to find out ... instead of "stay tuned to find out!" exclamation point. Just had to throw that out there. Listen, I work hard on these descriptions and these thumbnails. Thanks, Dunklaucklid, you got me. Oh. Man. It's a shame, though, because I doubt we're going to finish it tonight. Especially not with the tea parties. Oh, welcome back. Do you remember the name of the City of Books?
Duh. No.
I was just thinking about that.
They told me I wasn't going to remember it, so I didn't think to care about it enough.
Yeah, but now that I've been through this a handful of times, I'm trying to actually remember it out of spite.
I'm sure it'll get brought up at least one more time before the end.
Hopefully. Maybe.
This is one freakishly huge library.
I've heard that each one of these books has a tale like ours inside it.
After all, this is a world of gods.
You think Kekonia's in there?
Probably.
I have no idea. I don't know where Kekonia fits into the like Ryukishi verse.
I don't think we're gonna know until it is completely out.
Definitely true.
You can tell at a glance that it's no place for scum like you to be in, right?
After passing through the barrier, the three of them had finally made it inside the City of Books. For some time, they were overcome by the countless otherworldly sights before them, but they quickly remembered their original objective.
Are you listening? First off, don't get the wrong idea. You two came here to fight Bern, but that doesn't mean walking up to her and attacking her directly, okay?
Dang it. We know.
In the first place, you were only able to fight the great Beatrice on an even footing because the game board protected you with rules that made it that way. If you leave the game board, you're more like something that'll leave a small stain on her palm when she swats you. Don't forget that. Got it?
Makes sense. This isn't the game board we're familiar with.
We didn't come here to fight. We came here to take something back with us.
Exactly. You're here to prevent the Book of the Single Truth from being exposed to the public. That's your only goal, your only fight. You'd better not be confused about that.
Battler and Ange nodded to show their understanding.
The Book of the Single Truth itself is being displayed openly in the middle of the party, so stealing that'll be impossible. However, bringing in the key is going to be a big part of the ceremony.
Which means that the key must be stored in a different place.
But there's no guarantee that it'll be undefended.
After that, it's all up to your luck. I hope it's good, for your sakes. Hide!
Lambdadelta pulled her head back from around the corner of a bookshelf. The others hurriedly followed suit. In the distance, they saw emerald green lights floating about and leaving trails.
Those are Bern's cat familiars. She's got them patrolling all over the place today.
Did she guess that we would come?
No. Don't forget how huge this place is. Those are staff cats, out looking for idiot guests who've gotten lost so they can be taken to the lost children area.
Dang. And that's not where we want to go at the moment.
If it looks like one's about to find us, should we take them out?
I'd advise against it. Maybe if this were some other territory or game board, but this is Bern's home base. That single cat should make you as scared as being surrounded by a crowd of vicious beasts. Plus, they're cats. They've got good senses and they'll call for their friends. If they spot you, you'd better be prepared for what happens next. I'm not going to save you. Just getting you here has been troublesome enough. If I surrender, I might get off the hook with being stripped naked and thrown into the worst sort of crappy fragment for just a century. How wonderful. I think I can sympathize with Bern's feelings a bit now.
Lambdadelta wasn't laughing. Most likely, even this punishment she spoke of was pretty optimistic. Even though she keeps saying that she won't help anymore, she's already risking everything. Why?
Isn't it obvious?
Lambdadelta brushed her hair back and grinned.
It's because you're going to show me the perfect happy ending.
Whoa, that's an interesting CG.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought we'd get something like this.
Yeah.
Also, the music.
This is a new one. Non-instrumental version, Revelations. We've heard the instrumental before.
Lambdadelta hugged their heads at the same time, making their foreheads bonk together.
You'd better show me. For certain.
Yeah. We'll certainly show you a happy ending.
We'll certainly take this cat box back.
Let's go. This way, and swim quietly.
3 of them swam out into the darkness of the deep ocean trench that was the City of Books. In that massive, vast trench of bookshelves, they vanished into the darkness almost immediately. The library defied the common sense of the human world. The City of Books. The word city was no exaggeration, and it was filled with the green, glowing eyes of Bernkastel's countless cat familiars. Trying to count them would be almost as crazy as counting all the fish in the ocean. They formed schools that swam all over the place, on the lookout for any fools who might miraculously have managed to slip in and disturb their master's party. If Battler's group was found, cats would report... What? Did it happen again?
It had started to happen, but then it, like, fixed itself.
Okay. If Battler's group was found, the cats would report it instantly. They would probably form a pack, open their large mouths, and swallow them in a single gulp. There would be no fight. In this place, Battler's party would be swallowed like tiny fishes if they were discovered. The warships surrounding the Golden Land were well more than 100 strong. Each of them had dozens of cannons pointing at the door to the Golden Land. The goats that packed the decks of the ships numbered in the tens of thousands. Each one of them carried enough anti-magic toxin in their fangs to completely deny one of the game board pieces. This time, they would chew apart and eat away everything. The crowd of goats unleashed their rotten breath and dangling drool. At that time, Erika, who wanted to avoid trouble and hoped Beato would be able to convince Lambdadelta to surrender peacefully, was sitting alone, calmly enjoying the tea Runaway had poured for her. Of course, even Erika wasn't planning to give them unlimited time. In her mind, she had already decided to allow them 3 yawns before stepping in.
This actually isn't so bad. Getting to watch Beato try and convince everyone as they call her a coward and a loser.
Indeed, it is impressive that our short-tempered mistress has managed to become such an adult.
What's so funny?
Oh, pardon me. Are you ready for another cup? Please feel free to enjoy a collection of great teas from across the globe at your leisure.
Nothing's funny, he just does that.
Lambda is leading Beato's side into an all-out resistance, and she's gathering her friends. Is this a joke?
The messenger cat shook its head, then continued to dispassionately meow its report.
Even Lambda isn't that stupid. She should know what it means to have Awa as her enemy.
Even as she said this, Bernkastel was chewing away at her thumbnail.
Despite how she looks, that kid has a lot of strange friends. And they're all idly curious, crazy monsters. Even so, to take up arms against the Senate.
It was possible. She could think of many monsters among Lambdadelta's friends who would love to see a losing side gain support and make a comeback victory. Before she realized it, the finger Bernkastel was biting was covered with sweat. Good bluff, Beatrice. Good bluff. Good.
She could do it. She really is a moron sometimes, after all. Give me a phone, quickly!
The cat leapt away, then flew back with a phone and receiver.
I'm going to call up her friends. Why don't I have any phone numbers saved in here? Oh, right. I have no friends. How are you supposed to greet people over the phone? Does hello work?
Yeah. Meow.
Horses?
Meow.
Dome? The Golden Key was being kept in a room inside the City of Books. However, perhaps room wasn't a fitting word to use. It was large enough that you could probably fit a 2-dome baseball stadiums in if you tried.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's huge. That's... Even so, in this city, these were called rooms. Floating in the center of this vast room were several sacred magic circles.
Oh, that's where you keep yours at? I got a room for that too, yeah.
Mine's more like a half bath.
Yeah.
Wrapped around by these magic circles was Ange's golden key. Surrounding these were countless emerald green stars, which looked like a slowly revolving planetarium. The eyes that numbered the same as the stars were all glaring in the same direction.
Oh.
Hey,
Come on, don't look at me like that. I'm on your side. Did you forget?
one of the cats cat-paddled towards Ava, meowing that no one was allowed to enter this room.
Lady Bernkastel has ordered me to guard that key. So why don't you leave this to me and get lost?
Absolutely terrible idea. For them, at least.
Oh.
If they do. After looking at each other with suspicious eyes, the cats glared at Ava again, as though saying that they hadn't heard any such order.
By the way, cats have pretty soft bodies, don't they?
Huh?
Makes them much easier to chew.
Ava lifted up her gold staff, and the floor and ceiling of the vast room were covered with red lines. The reaction from the cats was lightning fast. They realized instantly that this was hostile behavior. The entire emerald green constellation writhed and became a single massive deep-sea fish, which charged at Ava with its cavernous mouth open wide. However, at the same time, the red lines on the floor and ceiling, the massive spiderweb, pinched itself together and crushed the fish, twisted it, spun it around and around, and compressed it into the size of a small ball. Not the doing doing noises.
Doink, doink. Oh gosh. I'm beginning to think Bernkastel did not ask Ava Beatrice to do this.
I'm beginning to think Bernkastel may have heavily overestimated her own advantage in this situation. Then, that ball-shaped thing burst open, leaving nothing left. It all happened in an instant. Wonder what red
only
fruit
you
shoes.
I've been thinking about that, but we can talk about that after the recording.
Cats
or after
aren't
the stream.
real.
True.
Oh. If only you just give up and die.
I want you.
I got to watch the play with her.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Ah, okay. I was wondering if we were going to jump back and forth between this or not, or if it was going to be like two separate chapters. But no, we are.
Ding dong ding 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 dong.
Yeah, we're in the climax, baby.
The witch hunters were holding a convention in the event hall. After all, when Ushiromiyas' diary was opened, the endless cat box would be lost, along with the countless imagined stories that had entertained them for so long. So, this final convention was a time for them to air their best theories one last time. While the opening of the cat box did give them a slightly lonely feeling, they couldn't contain their excitement as intellectual rapists. Oh my goodness! Not when they knew that the Rokkenjima mystery was finally going to be solved once and for all. I never thought anyone else was going to be called that in this.
Well, no one else has self-described themselves as that,
Yep.
at least.
If that box were opened, a single girl would be hurt. However, their jaws and fangs couldn't care less. The witch-hunting goat nobles kept licking their lips, wanting to chew apart the guts of Beatrice's cat box as soon as they could. There she is, seated upon a solemn throne so tall it looked like a pillar. Featherine listened in on the nonsense being spewed from the mouths of the goat nobles. Oh, we actually have chatter ambiance.
Yeah.
A black cat wearing a cape silently appeared and whispered something into Featherine's ear. It's over. It's so over, Featherine.
It's never been more over than this.
Yeah.
No, that is fine. Everything is going according to my plot. You need not inform my Miko.
Oh! Intrigue! Lies upon lies! Falsehoods upon falsehoods!
All the Slanesh plan, baby. Not Slanesh.
Zinch.
Zinch. Slanesh too, though, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. The cat bowed humbly and vanished. Featherine raised her wine glass high and laughed as she looked through it to the light of the chandelier, which was as beautiful and majestic as the moon.
This should be enough to thank you for your excellent reading, child of man. Well now, just who is weaving this tale? Am I for you, or are you for me?
Now that I know that they're friends in real life, this is giving an entire other dimension to this dynamic. This
What do you think?
trap? As Battler's group moved forward, darting from bookshelf to bookshelf and avoiding the eyes of the cats, they found something strange. Written with a faintly glowing red substance was a letter and an arrow. K. That's what it looked like to them. Do you think K means key?
Those marks only appeared when we got close. This is a message aimed at us.
Is there anyone here besides us who'd be willing to help?
I didn't think we had any allies. Ange traced the red arrow with her finger. It was written with very faint, thin strings that had been tied together. This red stuff, which stuck to your finger and tore away like cotton candy, had to be.
There is someone on our side. Someone who's always been on my side.
How can you be so sure?
Yeah, I get it too now. Lambda, we can trust the person who wrote this. She'll probably be able to guide us to the key safely.
Are you sure? Then let's go! We don't have time to be standing around.
Thank you. Mom.
Back here. How many yawns we at?
2.5. No. And the argument over whether they should surrender or fight continued without signs of stopping. I like to think that like every time she's about to yawn, Ronove keeps interrupting her, and then she doesn't, and she's getting like annoyed with it. Every now and then, a small fight would break out, which fortunately ended up delaying Erika's third yawn. Okay, not quite Ronove doing it, but however, they didn't know how long they would have to continue this fake fight. Keeping this high level of tension going was physically stressful. The instant they tired out and the tension faded, Erika would probably demand a verdict. They had to constantly appear to be trapped and agitated. It was a battle of weariness and tension. This was their fight. Erika waited patiently. Now that she had tired of tea, she was watching Ronove perform some magic tricks, and seemed to be enjoying herself considerably. Even Ronove, who was usually aloof from the world, was fighting. If Erika got bored and had a tantrum, an all-out attack would probably begin at once. He was also putting his life on the line in the fight to buy time for Battler's group. As the fiercest leader in the argument, Beato wore out the quickest. She breathed
My new
heavily,
favorite Pokemon.
and her face was so pale, it seemed she might faint at any moment.
Beato, hang in there. Your body won't hold out much longer at this rate.
Pretend to suddenly burst into tears and rest for a while. Oh gosh.
Hello?
Did you get my lines?
I got it, but there was like 1 second where it seemed to skitter just a little bit, but I didn't get we'll pick up the slack. I got everything else, though.
Okay, I'll do it again, but the Discord did the famous thing it did where all the audio caught up at once, which normally isn't that bad, but now that this song has vocals, it was really funny for me. Anyway. Pretend to suddenly burst into tears and rest for a while. We'll pick up the slack.
I'm still fine. I can do this. Just one more push. Let's go. So who's up next? Who wants to be beaten down first?
Goda! Oh, Goda.
He's ready, man.
In that case, I, Goda, am prepared. We must fight. It would be outrageous to accept defeat without fighting. What? I thought you were... God damn it. As I've said from the beginning, fighting with all we have is our only option.
Hold on a second.
It's just
Did he blow
Goda.
up the spot?
He's fickle. Erika rose suddenly from her chair. Runaway tried to coax her back into their seat, but Erika's attention was completely focused on those arguing under the arbor.
I am the detective.
Oh no, here we go.
My memory of what I hear is as good as a recording. We are aware of that, of course. You are quite an excellent detective, after all. I'm not interested in you. Goda-san, I have one question for you.
Yes, ma'am. Have I done something to cause offense?
Hold on. Don't forget that some of us are opposed to fighting. I think we should surrender. Those are the first words I heard from you when I arrived here. However, you just said this. We must fight. It would be outrageous to accept defeat without fighting. As I've said from the beginning, fighting with all we have is the only option.
There's a very easy solution to this, which is just all of them being like, yeah, Goda's stupid. We can...
Goda's a turncoat.
He has been since the beginning of the story. What do you mean? What?
That's what you said.
Well, did I say that? It is hardly strange for an opinion to change in the course of a discussion. Indeed. All of us have been feeling doubts about our position lately, so an occasional change of opinion wouldn't be.
No. From beginning to end, no one has changed their opinion in this argument. Just now, Goda-san alone flipped his position 180 degrees. Furthermore, I can't imagine that any of the statements made by the rest of you are sufficient to make Goda-san switch his position.
Of course he would be the one to fuck it up. Out of everyone.
Yeah.
He's not an Ushiromiyas. He doesn't do this arguing thing good. He's not.
Nope. When I watched the play, which I don't remember if we got this depiction at all when we were reading it because it was so long ago. It was episode 3. It showed, that was the one that had the 6 servants die in the chain-linked locker room. Mm-hmm. And it showed Goda being killed. He was walking around on the stage silently with a lantern, examining everything. And he was walking past the painting, and he was just like, And then somebody, like, there was a witch laugh, and he was like, he turned around terrified, and he was like, huh, must have just been the wind. And then he got killed, and I was like, even in the play, he's getting clowned on.
Yep. An uncomfortable, moist wind blew by. Why
Ew.
is it moist?
Very uncomfortable.
Everyone was silent, frozen as though time had stopped. In that silence, Erika continued with a blank expression.
This can lead us to 2 conclusions. First, it may be that Goda-san has no opinion, and is just a loser who will say anything that goes with the flow. Second, it may be that none of you has an opinion, and that this entire argument exists only for its own sake. Aren't you overthinking this a bit? Here we are in a desperate debate that will decide our fate. I hardly think it is strange that some people would act abnormally under such pressure. The only reason for prolonging a meaningless argument is to buy time. Do you have anything to gain by buying time? Is it because Lady Lambdadelta's reinforcements will come? That can't be true either. After all, for some time now, I've heard all of you speak to Lady Lambdadelta and Battler occasionally, but not once have I heard them reply. Taking all of this into account, we are left with only one conclusion.
That Lady Lambdadelta and Battler are not here now. And that these people have won Lady Lambdadelta's assistance, with Lady Lambdadelta and Battler probably planning to sneak into the City of Books. In which case, their goal is probably to steal back the Golden Key and Ange. Well, a little different. And your plan was to act as bait and buy time until their mission was complete.
But because of Koro-san's single poorly chosen line, this level of reasoning is possible for Furudo Erika. What do you think, everyone?
With a blank yet ruthless expression, Erika spoke those words and returned to her seat. Everyone else was frozen, unable to move. No one spoke. However, time was moving. As evidence, a bead of sweat dripped down someone's cheek and fell, and hit the table with a tiny yet audible splat.
There they go.
Then frozen time shattered, and in the same instant the white chair Erika had been sitting in broke apart. The stakes of the Seven Sisters of Purgatory and the high-velocity rounds from the Shyster Sister Corps hit the chair at exactly the same time. And a few moments after that, the Erika sitting in that chair faded and vanished.
After image. She's fast. Kill her!
In an instant, she's still got the fucking hat. In an instant, Erika had moved to a spot behind the chair. Her expression remained as blank as it had been before. However, there was now something in her hand that hadn't been there. As the 7 lightning strikes of the Seven Sisters raced at her once more, she battled all of them away with her scythe.
That was one hell of a farce. But the tea was good. Thanks for the meal. Well now, it seems that you've all been in agreement since the start. Allow me to ask for your answer once again.
Erika lifted her hand, the one that wasn't holding the scythe.
Very well, allow me to answer. This golden land belongs to me, to all of us. If you enter with your shoes on, we'll give you a proper welcome. In other words, to put it elegantly... All cannons prepare to fire. Target, the golden land. Wash your face in miso soup! Shoot 'em dead!
Oh boy.
Yes, thank you. See you around. Yeah.
Bernkastel set down the receiver and crossed out yet another name on a list of Lambdadelta's notable friends. Something was wrong. Not a single person she called had heard of anything from Lambdadelta. They were just playing dumb. They really knew nothing about the strange ruckus Lambdadelta was trying to stir up. Even Bernkastel was starting to suspect that something was fishy. Then, a black cat leapt in and meowed a frantic report.
Lambda and Battler aren't in the Golden Land.
She tore the phone receiver from its stand. The number she dialed was short. It was probably an internal line. However, after listening to it ring several times, she slammed the receiver down, and down again, finally managing to break the phone.
Gather all the cats who aren't busy. This is an emergency. The cats I had gathered at the key aren't responding. Lambda!
Bernkastel, overwhelmed with emotion, kicked the table over. Lambda's gonna be having fun after this. Then, the room finally grew bright. It was like green sunlight. Ew. A bright green light waved about, giving the illusion that a green sun was rising and lighting up the room. It was a sign that Bernkastel's army had been given an emergency summons.
Come, my kitties. It's time for a witch hunt. That kid always smells like candy, so you'll find her pretty fast. The first cat who finds her gets a human form and a witch's title.
It was now an emerald green nebula let out a roar of delight that shook the bookshelf cliff.
Oh,
Something's chasing us.
What is that? A green sun?
Hide! They know!
The three of them frantically hid behind a bookshelf. The room with the key in it was straight ahead. They could see something glinting faintly in the darkness of that room. It was a glint different from anything else they had seen so far in the city. You just gotta go for it. You just gotta send it. Get the key and get out. They know now. Doesn't matter if you hide. The color of the glint was gold. They had almost reached the golden key. However, if they went towards it, Bernkastel would be right behind them, along with her vast swarm of familiars. In other words, they were trapped in a dead end. They already knew that the emerald green color came from the eyes of the familiars. However, it was almost beyond comprehension that this undulating green sun could be the same thing. And they could do nothing except stare in wide-eyed shock. The countless cats were passing through the ravine of bookshelves from the very top to the very bottom. As they approached, they painstakingly checked the gaps between each book. However, even this mind-numbingly huge task was accomplished swiftly thanks to the sheer number of familiars. You just gotta go. With the speed of a gust of wind, they carefully checked every nook and cranny. There was no way to hide from this green sun. That would have been as foolish as trying to hide from water on a sinking ship.
Will we be able to hide until they pass us?
No. At this rate, we'll be found no matter where we go. Feather was just about to leap out from the shadows, but Lambdadelta grabbed him by the collar an instant before.
Are you thinking of fighting?
No, but we'll be found if we just stand here, so we have to move forward. We need to reach the key as soon as possible.
Do you really think there won't be cats guarding the key? We'll just be pinched between them.
I believe in Aunt Ava. She's the one who guided us this far. I'm sure she took care of the cat guards, too.
I agree. If we're gonna be found anyway, let's try and get there as fast as possible and grab the key. If we can just do that, no one will be able to open the book.
So you'll rush in there and grab the key. And then what? That place is a dead end, right? You realize there'll be nowhere to run, don't you?
We know that, but
The key will be our trump card. It's vitally important to Bernkastel too. If worse comes to worse, we might be able to use the key as a bargaining chip.
Bargain with Bern? You're insane!
But if we hide here, we'll definitely be found. In that case, I'll take a bet off that 1,000,000 to 1 chance. We'll get the key and have that be our trump card.
So, you're praying for a miracle to win against the Witch of Miracles?
Picking a winner out of astronomically bad odds. That's the Ushiromiyas family's magic.
I've got good eyesight, so let me enlighten you. Can you see those magic circles around the golden key? That's a simple barrier, but a pretty strong one. It'll break if you just touch it. But it's the sort of annoying seal that'll take exactly 1 hour to fade, whether a great witch or a lowly human does it. It's still over an hour before the ceremony begins. In other words, we won't even be able to touch the key unless we can buy time for a whole hour.
when Aunt Ava took out the guard cats, she must have broken the magic circle too. It probably won't take an hour.
As far as I can see, the magic circle is still intact. Sorry to say it, but even if Ava did touch it, it was less than an hour ago.
Well, what's an hour? At least we know we can grab it if we manage to stick around that long.
Yeah, sure. Let's play tag for an hour. I'm used to getting chased around by thugs.
You two really are out of your minds! You're really planning to play tag against Bern and all her cats?
If there's even a 1% chance.
you can be certain that we'll grab it. The difference in enthusiasm between the siblings who had everything to lose and Lambdadelta was immense. However, Lambdadelta was no coward. She was a great witch of the Senate. If she surrendered, she wouldn't be able to escape severe punishment. But she would be forgiven after a few hundred years. Why would she, after being thrown into a stormy sea while clutching a buoy that could save only her, decide to throw that buoy away? No living person could be as determined as those siblings, who were already fighting for their lives. No one could blame Lambda.
You two are really stupid. You know that? Oh well. Why don't I tell you about a plan that's got a bit more than a 1% chance of working? How does that sound?
The two siblings looked at each other. However, they both thought any plan would be worth listening to, even if it would only raise their chances by 0.00001%.
A sacrifice. Bern is a cat. She'll chase fleeing prey, but she'll also kill prey that doesn't flee. And only after toying with it first.
Cats are terrible people.
Still, if that's true, it'll be worth betting on.
Let's have one sacrifice. We'll decide with rock, paper, scissors. Whoever loses has to go taunt Bern, then get laughed at and killed, all to buy as much time as possible. Does that work for you?
No need for rock, paper, scissors. I'll do it. You two go on to the key room.
No way, Oni-chan. I'll do it. This is all my responsibility. I was the one who listened to Bernkastel and trusted her, so I've got a thing or two to say to her.
Both Battler and Ange decided to be the sacrifice and wouldn't listen to the other.
See, you need rock, paper, scissors to decide, right? If you don't act quickly, we won't even have a chance to use this plan. They'll be here any moment.
Okay. Either Ange or I will be the sacrifice. Lambdadelta, you'll take whoever's left, steal the key, and take them back to the Golden Land.
I won't let you do it, Oni-chan.
Quit joking around. You've got to let me act like a big brother at least once in a while.
There's no time! Rock, paper, scissors, single round! I'm super paper, so of course we'll start with that. Got it, you two?
Fine.
No regrets, okay?
3, 2, 1, paper!
It really was a stupid kid's game of rock, paper, scissors. Since they'd promised to start with paper, this was a chance to make a surprise attack and use something else. However, both Battler and Ange chose rock. And yet, it wasn't a tie. No way. Lambdadelta's gonna make me cry.
Yeah.
Because in addition to those two rocks, was one person who chose scissors. After staring stupidly at their fists and those scissors, they looked at her.
Oh, dang. We were supposed to start with paper, so I figured I'd use scissors and beat you both. I guess paper should have stuck with paper.
There had been no reason for Lambdadelta to join in on the game. This wasn't the time for a joke like that. Battler and Ange, each trying to lose, chose rock. Lambdadelta alone chose scissors.
Don't tell me you intentionally...
If you die, we can't even get back to the Golden Land. It doesn't count.
Well then, you can just use this.
When Lambdadelta made a clenched fist, a palely glowing fragment appeared there, and she gave it to the pair of them. Battler had seen one of these before. It was a magic fragment like the one Erika had used before disappearing, which would allow one to cross the sea of fragments.
With that, you'll be able to return to the Golden Land. Anyway, I'm the best person for the job. You two probably wouldn't last a handful of seconds against Bern. If it's me, not only will an hour be no problem, but who knows? I might even win. And I owe her one. We gotta make this my victory and even the score. Still, away games are such a pain.
Lambdadelta pretended to complain as she stood up straight.
Anyway, see you in a bit. I guess a show-off like me couldn't stick to being a spectator after all. Sorry for stealing your time to shine. It's sad that I won't be able to watch your game until the end. But I've already been shown the script, so I'm not missing anything.
Lambda. Then, with her broadest smile and a wink.
This is your happy ending! I've already figured out what happens next, so there's no need to watch. I'll see the two of you again. In the credit roll of your happy ending, that is.
Wait!
Lambdadelta snapped her fingers, and the two of them turned into Competo candies. She picked them up, took aim at the glint of the golden key, and flicked them away. That way, they should be able to reach the key without Bernkastel noticing.
I imagine this is her speaking.
Yeah.
Dang, what terrible luck. What were the odds of them both playing a rock against my scissors? Yeah, I know. It wasn't nice of me to test you like that. Sorry, you two.
Green! And then, Lambdadelta's body was lit up by an emerald green light.
Oh boy.
Time for
Senate
round
Witch.
2, even though I've never seen round 1.
True, Voyager Witch versus Voyager Witch.
When she turned around, the cat's eyes and Lambdadelta's met. Lambdadelta grinned and waved.
Like a Pokemon trainer battle.
There was a fierce roar and several bright flashes.
What in the...
I believe this is also a new song that's called Soar.
A chain of explosions flashed by one after another, enveloping Bernkastel and her pack of familiars in an instant. They were multicolored fireworks. Or rather, multicolored candy that burst with a flash and scattered everywhere. Countless stick candies, sugar sculptures, cookies, and tarts flew in every direction. And each one of those split and exploded into hundreds of candies, each of which exploded again into a cloud of competo. Whoa! However, these sweets weren't sweet. The competo was heavier than lead, harder than steel, and sharper than any blade. As the colorful cloud exploded outward, it blasted the entire pack of cats into little bits. The emerald green glints were scattered everywhere and sparkled like the night sky. And amongst them danced a cloud of pretty candies that looked like they'd go well on a Christmas tree. It was sufficiently outrageous and beautiful and cute to mark the great witch Lady Lambdadelta's appearance on the scene. Lady Lambdadelta, I kneel!
Oh, if it isn't Lambda. I was hoping to meet you in the party hall.
I love you, Bern. Isn't whispering of our love all the better if we're alone?
I'll be happy to hear it, after I've plucked off all your limbs.
With a jerk of her chin, Bern ordered her familiars to attack.
This is my dearly beloved and only friend in the world. Her arms from the elbow down, her legs from the knees down. You can chew those up however you please, but not a scratch anywhere else on her.
Whoa! Weird 3D effect.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be a whale?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
The crowd of cats undulated again, reformed into a single mass, and became the emerald green leviathan that would swallow up any poor victims who snuck into the city of books. It was shaped like an impossibly vast whale. However, would it look like a whale from Lambda's perspective? She probably couldn't see anything except an immense mouth about to swallow up everything.
Simply wonderful. I'm about to be overwhelmed by Bern's love, aren't I?
I do love you, Lambda. Once your limbs are gone, I'll skewer you through your butt and hang you by my bed. Every morning I'll give you a good morning kiss, and every evening I'll kiss you good night.
Sounds great. Then I better wrap you up in my love too.
Yandere fight! Yandere fight! However, Lambdadelta's war cry was swallowed up by the glowing, writhing Leviathan in a single bite.
I need this animated.
Yes, you are wonderful, Lambda. I love that empty-headed way you just do things without looking ahead or worrying about your own life. Huh? Win?
At the same instant that Lambdadelta was swallowed and Bernkastel was sure of her victory, the latter felt a slight breeze playing with her hair. The countless sweets that Lambdadelta had sent flying like fireworks and which drifted about the decorations, like the decorations at a Christmas party, were flowing. No, they were converging on a single point. I'm gonna be sick.
Yeah.
It was like watching a firework run backwards. Whoa!
I would pay to
What
see
a
that.
descriptor.
Yeah.
Countless sweets rapidly contracted around the vast, closed mouth of the Leviathan. A gigantic reverse explosion concentrated on a point inside it. Or perhaps it was more like countless candies showering the Leviathan from all directions like bullets. Inside that mass of green was a black swirl. That swirl was on a palm. On the palm of Lambdadelta, who wore a defiant smile. CG? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I read really quickly what it said and it made me laugh. Oh. Lambda like Kamiyoshi. It was a mass of super gravity. All of the sweets, the cats, the whale, and everything else was being sucked into that one point and crunched. Whoa.
I'll hold you tight. Get over here, Burn!
You're trying to suck me in?
All of the candies Lambdadelta had scattered were getting sucked back into the black hole on her palm at unbelievable speeds. The reverse explosion of the oncoming candy whittled away at the Leviathan, crushing it inwards.
Lambda!
Come on. Let me give you a hug.
With all her strength, Bernkastel held her ground in midair, trying to resist this super gravity. For the first time, all trace of condescension had left her face. Even Lambdadelta's cocky expression was marred by the sweat trailing from her forehead. The sweat. Sorry.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna-
got used to saying sweet so
I mean,
much.
probably would be one and the same, honestly.
Yeah, her sweat probably is sweet. Because their power was so overwhelming, any victory would have to be instantaneous. If either relaxed in the slightest, they would match each other's strengths and get dragged into another dizzyingly long fight that could last for centuries. Neither of them had any desire to go through that again. So neither of them showed the slightest mercy for their most beloved friend. By now, the Leviathan had been completely crushed and compressed inside the black hole. Bernkastel was the only one still holding her ground. However, a windstorm of candy asteroids like the asteroid belt repeatedly slammed into Bernkastel, wearing away at her girl's form bit by bit.
I've got to get away, or I'll really... Good.
The thing flying into Bernkastel's range of vision was a comet, pelting straight for her, with a massive present box at its core and a cloud of candy surrounding it.
Lambda! Ah! Ah! My body! Ah!
The candy comet wiped out Bernkastel along with her scream. It burst into little bits, and within a blink of an eye, it was sucked back into a hole of supergravity. Once it was all gathered into one place like a gem, it began to spin rapidly. It was flattened by the centrifugal force, turning into something whose shape resembled a galaxy. After swallowing all of the cats and their master, it now looked like a wiggling, flickering, emerald green galaxy that floated just above Lambdadelta's palm. The pocket of supergravity kept compressing it further and further until, at the end, it had become a single, green, shiny confeito. Dang. Then it fell down onto her outstretched palm. It couldn't have been that easy.
Sorry, Bern. I wanted to play with you always, so I've always taken it easy and pretended to be in a pinch.
Lambdadelta held the confeito above her head and peered at it. Pay or pie? I keep forgetting.
A pay.
Pay.
But the truth is, I'm just impossibly strong. Sorry about that.
Then she pressed the confeito to her pink lips, gave it a light kiss, and bit down.
This doesn't taste like Bern.
Lambdadelta licked her fingertips, then turned to face the empty air behind her. Teleports behind you.
I already knew, my beloved Lambda.
I love you, Bern.
Liar. I knew that you never took me seriously.
In that case, let's love each other for real. Both of us. Seriously.
5-hour Umineko Seknak.
Coming next stream.
Oh, I do love you, Lambdadelta. I'm happy. So happy.
I do love you, Bernkastel. I'll turn you into candy and cuddle you with my tongue forever.
No matter who wins, our love will never fade. That's wonderful. Just wonderful.
Okay, let's love each other right now.
With a crash, crack lines appeared across the sky of the Golden Land.
Oh, back to this.
Then, finally, the barrier of the Golden Land was breached by the fleet's assault. It was a bizarre scene, more ridiculous than anything anyone had imagined. The sky of the Golden Land shattered like glass, and a fleet of sailboats flew in one after another. They were crowded with goats, pushing each other and spilling off the sides.
Come, let us begin. This is the Golden Land's final banquet.
A banquet. It wasn't some fancy metaphor, but a simple statement of fact. The overwhelming surge of goat troops came in like a tsunami. The residents of the Golden Land who stood defiantly were like a forgotten sand castle on a beach. A fight between a wave and a sand castle is not a fight. This was a banquet for the oncoming Vikings and a stand-up meal. At a stand-up meal, the voracious, merciless goats.
One of these is not like the other.
There's no way around it. Fire! Good though. Come, goats, bring destruction to all that is formed, stillness to all that moves, despair to all who live.
All those who could use magic fired it off at once. With a shout like a thunderclap, the goat tsunami rushed forward. Everything collided at once, and there was a brilliant and terrible explosion. Sparks and smoke, flying splinters and screams. For just an instant, the fierce magical cannonballs fired by Beato Virgilia and the Shyster Sister Corps seemed to halt the goat tsunami in its tracks. However, their numbers were so great that they didn't even flinch. The goat wave continued to walk over the corpses that had been blasted away, or which had fallen to their knees in weariness. The mound of corpses piled up, and still more goats were shot down as they tried to cross it, so that in a few seconds it really was tall enough to be a tsunami.
Pitiful! This golden land you built is nothing more than a sandcastle some kid left on a beach! Be swallowed up and disappear! Curtsy. Perhaps you should liken it to ripples beating meaninglessly against a wharf. A sandcastle getting swallowed by a wave. Just you try swallowing my castle. What do you mean by that?
Beato lifted her hands, telling the pair of battle towers that had been hidden deep in the ground that the day of glory had come again. That's what she means by that. The goat tsunami looked up at it in shock. After all, this time the tsunami that towered over everything wasn't them.
I'm just imagining all the goats looking up like,
Yeah.
oh.
Uh-oh. I can't. I'm surprised.
Fire!
I didn't know we'd get these again.
Yeah, right? It's been 5 episodes.
They got 2 uses, and they were both good. A thunderstorm of rapid-fire ballista rounds leapt from the battle tower gun ports. The goats let out a confused scream at the furious tempest that was bearing down on them.
That was another thing I got to see in the stage play was the Vergilia Beatrice battle. It was very cool.
They saw something else, too. In the sky above the tower was a reaper astride a divine horse and backdropped by the moon. A massive spear the size of a tower in its hand. The great witch sitting on the horse by the reaper spoke.
Welcome back. This world does not belong to you.
Do it, teacher!
The heavenly spear pierced the ground. For an instant, it looked like some divine tower was sticking out of the ground. However, that was the very last thing those eyes ever saw. The sacred spear was the embodiment of heaven's wrath, and the strength to bury an unclean city in a single stroke was unleashed upon the pack of goats. With a massive explosion that resembled a volcanic eruption, the goats were sent flying all over the place.
Not bad. I guess they really are witches. But is it enough?
The enemies keep on coming. It looks like we'll be the ones swallowed up after all.
Shut up, you two! Shut up!
At least you two seem to be enjoying yourselves.
How could one fail to enjoy such a festival? It seems our time in the limelight shall not be stolen from us after all.
I feel like Kenzo is like Slave Knight Gale in this situation.
True. You give me that thing, your golden witch. Looks like it. I'm all fired up. That looked really smooth.
Yes. The crowd of goats truly was like a wave pressing in from the sea. You might be able to split a ripple on the beach with your feet, but you can't split the sea. Well,
Watch me.
witches could. However, that meant the other side also had someone who could split seas. Suddenly, smoke poured from one of the 2 towers and the ground shook as it crumbled.
Oh gosh!
What the hell happened?
What was there? On top of the other tower?
Mr. President!
Erika! But of course, it is your turn now, is it not?
Turn-based game?
I mean, that's how it's been since the start, hasn't it?
Now I've got a new dream. We had a fighting game, yes.
Umineko turn-based strategy.
Yes, sir.
Like Fire Emblem, like
I was thinking more like Persona, but yeah, I mean either
Persona, that
one
would work
gets
too.
it works. Yeah.
at the top of the other battle tower. Erika stood gracefully, wielding her scythe.
I'd say that's enough to show the witches of the Golden Land proper respect. All magic is fake. It's just a fantasy sandcastle that'll always vanish when mystery swallows it up. Playing witches was pretty fun, though. I think I remember playing something like this with some older girls from the neighborhood when I was younger. So let's bring this to an end. Now it's time to hear you scream.
Erika threw that pretentious pirate hat she had been wearing this whole time into the sky.
No!
With the moon behind it, Erika's form, her afterimage, vanished from the tower's peak.
Where is she?
We have her on radar. She's on the side of the tower.
Oh gosh!
With a wild and joyous laughter, Erika dashed straight down the tower.
What am I gonna do for the thumbnail?
Yeah,
There's
you
been
got
two CGs.
so many options. You got... That's a really cool CG.
Yeah.
She swung her scythe like a baton, and as she passed along the tower's wall, its gun ports, walls, pillars, and everything else was crushed, leaving a trail of smoke. So from the sidelines, it looked as though a line of smoke suddenly split the tower from top to bottom. The golden arrows of the Shyster Sister Corps chased after Erika like golden threads in a sewing machine.
You monster! Get yourself sewn and embroidered, yeah!
Good.
Even the golden arrows couldn't catch up with Erika. Finally, Erika reached the bottom of the battle tower and empty cartridges were ejected from the golden bows.
Burst useless tower? Isn't that the phrase?
Erika, who had now landed on the ground, slowly stood up and tapped the tower behind her with the handle of her scythe. That tiny tap cut the final string that held the tower together, and the whole thing fell in on itself with an earth-shattering crash. Once again, the dark tsunami rumbled forward through the rubble and smoke.
I am Furudo Erika, Witch of Truth. This moment marks the dismantling of the Golden Land by the truth. Dust to dust, illusions to illusions. I'll end your daydream for you. Come try and remember, ghosts. Remember how you died so long ago.
The goat tsunami swallowed everything up. When she saw them sink under the black sea of goats, Erika guffawed from atop the debris of the tower.
Come on now, kill them! Massacre them all! Cut off all their heads and stick them on spears! Ghosts of 1986, the time has come for the whirlpool of truth to swallow you whole and erase you! So long!
Oh, that's it? That's where it ends?
I guess so.
Dang.
Even I didn't know that much.
Wow, the music timed it up perfectly.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
There's
call it here. I
only-
got work in the morning.
Yeah, me too. I was gonna say there's only one chapter left.
Oh,
Holy.
they gave us such intense music.
Yep.
Spoilers, don't read that chat. Don't. We're back in the cool big room. The two baseball field sized room.
Yeah.
Get on here. Wonder
You
if she's
put
gonna
two
put that
diamonds
on again
together.
at any point.
No, that's
No?
an evil witch outfit. Why would she?
So what you're telling me is she'll get a new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I'm excited. I
Yeah.
really would like to continue if I didn't have to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning.
That's okay. You know, it's quite poetic in a way, because this, if I remember correctly, is the 8th stream of this episode,
Yeah.
and almost all of our episodes have been 9 streams. So it works out in the end.
well,
What do we got going on for the rest of the week, Patricia?
I am hopeful. I have to do a few more checks, a few balances as well, perhaps. But tonight, I think there will be a video ready for tomorrow.
Yay!
A brand new gaming video. So make sure you go on over there and give that thing a little like for me, huh?
Yeah.
And Saturday, Jordan might be streaming, maybe, probably.
All right.
And Sunday, we're back to Umineko.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, guess we'll see you guys then. I don't got. I mean, what is there to say this time? Normally we like decompress at the end of episodes, but like everything's kind of straightforward now. Everything.
Yeah, not a lot of.
We know what's got to happen.
Questions.
Yep. So I guess we'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Very good.